Hey, HoniGAME is back. I know you all love Zoonomaly, right? Well, you're definitely going to love Zoochosis. It's also about exploring a zoo filled with creepy creatures, but in terms of sheer terror, Zoochosis takes it up several notches. Honestly, no matter how much they pay, HoniGAME wouldn't dare work at that zoo. After several trailers revealing the setting and the monsters awaiting us in this zoo, HoniGAME's anticipation for Zoochosis keeps growing. At this point, it's my most anticipated game of 2024. With 3 trailers already out, a lot of interesting details about Zoochosis have been revealed that most people might have missed. So HoniGAME is going to compile all of them in today's video. From the storyline to theories and the mysteries about the mutated beasts that will hunt you in the game. Here's a roundup of all the information you need to know about Zoochosis. Who wants to join HoniGAME for an early tour of this zoo? There's a special offer just for you in this video. All you have to do is watch the video and hit subscribe to help me reach 100 subscribers, and you'll get a free night at the Zoochosis Zoo. It's a one-way ticket, though no return trips. I'll only take you to the gate, and after that, you're on your own. With such an exciting reward, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button now. According to the first descriptions in the trailer released for months ago, Zoochosis is a horror game that looks like a first-person perspective, but is actually a chest-mounted camera simulation. Why a chest-mounted camera? Because our main character is a night shift zookeeper tasked with detecting mutated animals, formulating vaccines to restore them to their normal state, and trying to survive in this terrifying zoo. This job seems pretty easy, right? You'd think the main character must be a seasoned zookeeper with lots of experience handling these creatures. But no, folks, this is actually his first day on the job. Speaking of the zoo where he works, it's quite large, so large that you need a train to move between enclosures. Whenever there's an incident, the train immediately returns to the station. According to the information from the bulletin board, everything starts off normally with basic zookeeper tasks like preparing food for the animals. Each species has its own diet with different ingredients, and the zookeeper has to remember all of this. Additionally, he must check their living conditions, making sure they stay in their enclosures. Essentially, he worries about every aspect of the animal's care. However, suddenly the alarm goes off and the entire zoo goes into emergency mode. Typically, this would mean an animal has escaped, but what happens is far more terrifying. The animals start exhibiting strange behaviors and their bodies begin to mutate. They transform from herbivores to carnivores, specifically hunting the zookeeper. It all starts with their food, as shown in this scene. When the zookeeper is preparing meat, a tiny monster emerges from the meat. This is the parasitic creature that causes the mutations. These parasites enter the host's body through food, causing severe physical changes and altering their behavior. For example, this giraffe's head splits open to reveal a set of long, sharp teeth, and spider legs grow from its belly, allowing it to climb walls. The kangaroo undergoes fewer changes, with its pouch turning into a mouth, and it also gains the ability to climb walls. The zookeeper's new mission is to save these animals by creating vaccines to eliminate the parasites. Of course, during this time, he also uncovers shocking secrets about this shady zoo. For instance, in this scene, I'm pretty sure the zookeeper is dropping a bag with someone inside into a saw, turning them into chunks of meat for the animals. However, you can see that the person was parasitized, so in the next scene, a strange creature emerges from the meat. Or perhaps the zookeeper is just pressing buttons without knowing or caring what's inside the bag. Moreover, the game promises multiple endings based on the player's choices throughout the zoo's exploration. Every animal you save will affect Zoochosis's ending. Assisting you in this task are tools that no real-world zoo would equip their staff with. For example, there's a thermal camera to detect which animals are parasitized. In this scene, you can see the parasitized giraffe glowing red, indicating a high body temperature. This suggests that the host's body temperature increases when parasitized. Next is the sound intensity meter, which seems to be another method for detecting parasites, as the mutated creatures emit sounds at specific frequencies. This device captures those sounds and leads you to the infected animal. Another tool is a handheld device displaying the zookeeper's tasks for the shift. Notice that tasks 3 and 6 involve creating and administering vaccines, indicating that the zoo is well aware of the parasitic creatures and curing the animals is part of the job. These parasitic incidents are not new, they happen regularly. The final tool revealed in the trailer is a UV light, used to detect traces left by the parasites that are invisible to the naked eye. That's all for the first trailer. Now, let's dive into the details of the next trailer with HoniGAME's analysis. The second trailer opens with the main character sitting and eating pizza while watching a news report on TV. The news reports that Australia is overrun with spiders after a flood, and our zookeeper comments that he feels lucky not to be in Australia. This confirms that the game is not set in Australia. However, there is a big spider crawling on the wall here, and as soon as the character steps outside, he encounters two mutated giraffes crawling on the ceiling like spiders. Seeing this, I'd rather be in Australia. One of the giraffes then jumps at the protagonist. It's unclear when this scene takes place in the game, but it's hard to believe the zookeeper survives this attack. The trailer cuts to another scene where the protagonist receives a call from an unknown number, revealing his name as Paul Connolly and his position as a night shift zookeeper. The caller, likely a zoo director, informs Paul that the meat delivery is on its way and instructs him to keep working and wait for further instructions. However, it's odd that the phone doesn't have the superior's number saved. Paul then pulls out his tablet, which has an updated interface from the first trailer, displaying more tasks. The first task is to prepare food and load it onto the train to deliver to the animals. The food preparation process is quite meticulous. For example, the meat must first be cut into small pieces. The ingredients remain a mystery, but based on their appearance, I maintain my theory. The meat is human and the person was alive before being put through the cutter. Each type of animal requires a different amount of food. For instance, the portion for an elephant is definitely larger than that for a giraffe. So you need to provide the correct portion for each animal, following specific recipes. If a piece is too big, you'll have to cut it down to the right weight. Once everything is ready, the train can start moving. But I wonder why these animals are being fed meat since none of them are carnivores. The zoo houses giraffes, kangaroos, gorillas, penguins, zebras, hippos, moose, and elephants. Penguins only eat fish, so who is this meat for? The only answer is the mutated animals. The purpose behind this is unclear, but it's evident that the zoo is intentionally raising these monsters. I doubt the train can keep the protagonist safe. Fortunately, in the trailer, he safely reaches the gorilla enclosure. Besides feeding the animals, he also needs to collect their fecal samples for testing. The zoo even has a specialized vacuum for this task, pretty fancy. It seems that testing the feces is another way to detect if an animal is parasitized. If the sample comes from a mutated animal, a light on the centipede sign will illuminate. The next task is to measure the body temperature of the penguins. As mentioned in the previous trailer, the mutated animals have higher body temperatures, and currently, the penguins are fine. It's unclear whether their body temperature rises only when they are about to mutate or if it's always elevated. We'll need to play the game to find out. The infrared camera interface also reveals the in-game date, which is September 6, 1991. The next area the zookeeper checks is the kangaroo enclosure. He carries a multi-purpose flashlight that can both illuminate normally and emit UV light to reveal traces invisible to the naked eye. Everything seems fine until he reaches the giraffe enclosure and discovers a mutated creature crawling on the ceiling, seemingly trying to escape from him. Upon spotting this mutated giraffe, he must immediately neutralize it to ensure the safety of the other animals. Despite quickly grabbing his tranquilizer gun, it's too late when he returns. The mutated creature has already killed the normal giraffe and started eating it. However, he must take it down immediately as treating these mutated monsters is also part of his job. The trailer ends here, so let's move on to the latest trailer that was released just a few days ago. This new trailer introduces us to another character, a shady old man who seems to be the zoo's operator and the protagonist's superior. The scene shows the protagonist during a job interview, and whatever he says makes the old man very pleased. The old man wants someone who is not too inquisitive, can handle problems on their own, and doesn't ask too many questions. This sounds like a dream job for HoniGAME, right? Exploring and figuring things out is my specialty, so just hire me already. But it turns out the old man was waiting for me to drop my guard and then injected me with a sedative, knocking me out. When I wake up, I realize my clothes are intact, and the old man didn't do anything to me. He just sat on a chair watching me sleep until I woke up. It's still creepy, but at least all he wants me to do is take care of the animals. The sedative he used was to prevent parasitic infection, and now I'm to undergo a trial shift. He says I'll be officially hired if I survive the first night, and as an official employee, I'll receive a supercar right away. If I make it through the night, that car will be mine, and the girl standing next to it will be my wife. With such a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, I couldn't pass it up, so I asked the boss to lock me in the zoo overnight, ensuring I wouldn't leave until morning. Unlike the cheerful atmosphere of the second trailer, this one focuses more on the horror aspect of the game, reminding everyone that Zoochosis is indeed a horror game, where the mutated animals can kill the protagonist at any moment. Aside from this storyline information, the trailer doesn't reveal many new details, but does introduce a few more types of mutated animals that haven't appeared in previous trailers. For example, there is a super long hand, and it's unclear which animal it belongs to, but it feels more like a tongue than a hand. This could likely be the final boss, a creature that has been watching us from the beginning of the game and will reveal itself as something terrifying at the end, or maybe it's an elephant's trunk. Next is a mutated penguin, whose most notable feature is that it can fly. Unlike the previously introduced mutated creatures, this penguin actively hunts me. During the game, whenever a mutated animal escapes, the emergency system is activated and the screen on the train will display which animal has escaped. For instance, in this clip, it's the penguin, and the train immediately returns to the station. The trailer also briefly shows a parasitized zebra and a hippo with a grotesque, blossoming mouth. Not only its mouth, but its bones pierce through its flesh, protruding all over its body. According to the game's developers, these parasites do more than just inhabit the animals. They change the biological structure, transforming the host into an entirely different creature. This also explains the game's title, Zoochosis. Specifically, Zoochosis refers to the psychological crisis syndrome in animals kept in captivity. Animals suffering from this syndrome repeatedly perform purposeless actions like self-harm, swaying, pacing, and stamping, behaviors also caused by the parasites in the game. Overall, the more I watch these trailers, the more fascinated I become with this type of game. I can't wait for its release. Let's see how accurate my predictions are. Alright, that's all the information you need to know about Zoochosis. If you found this video interesting, don't forget to give it a like and hit the subscribe button so you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.